My name is Maya Peters, and before I begin, I would just like to put out there, in no way, shape, or form am I an expert. But after my lengthy research, I have become convinced that caffeine is not only harmful in some cases, it's actually beneficial. I mean, did you know that caffeine is the most widely consumed stimulant in the entire world? We drink it in our coffee, tea, and we even consume it in our cans of Coke, Pepsi, juice, and things alike. I mean, people take in so much of this drug that they rarely even think twice about it. It's our common norm. I mean, caffeine is found naturally in so many of our foods and beverages, and you'll also find it in products sold over the counter for things such as fatigue, migraines, and common colds. And although commonly referenced in a negative fashion, caffeine is considered by a dense portion of society as a prerequisite to getting through the beginning, the middle, and the end of the day. But for as long as I can remember, I have been cautioned by all from becoming engulfed in the rabbit hole known as caffeine in all of its forms, from everything in between coffee and tea. I mean, have you ever thought of why most, if not all, the individuals you surround yourself with, they themselves, or they know someone that owns an espresso machine, or have made purchasing soda a ritualistic activity, despite the overwhelming evidence linking caffeine to adverse health effects? No, stop. Really, think about it. Because it's important. I mean, why is society keep on pushing caffeine through their entirety of their bodies if it's so unhealthy, if it's so harmful? I mean, have you ever really asked a question about it? You should. Because caffeine is conceived by so much of the public as a villain who simply reaps no mercy for its victims. But not all caffeine consumption is harmful. Listen, I'm not here to encourage students, professors, or anyone alike, including anyone that might be in earshot of my speech, that large caffeine consumption is the best thing for your health, because that is simply not the case. And I concede. I mean, even Francisca Spritzler, a registered dietitian and certified diabetes educator, states that high doses of caffeine have unpleasant and even dangerous side effects, such as increased anxiety, insomnia, and high blood pressure. None of these are good things, right? I know this, you know this, and society knows this. But still, registered dietitian Alina Petra says that over 90% of North America's population overindulges in caffeine, increasing the likelihood of becoming a victim of the many deleterious, detrimental effects that follow after heavy abuse that I had previously listed. I mean, one must also be aware of the fact that caffeine tolerance differs from person to person, and no two people are the same. The same side effects I am listing here, I'm almost sure aren't a foreign concept to you. That I'm aware of. In fact, the negative side of caffeine is most probably the only concept that has ever been preached to you over the years, as you ventured out to your occasional Pepsi, to eventually your sophisticated caramel macchiato at your local Starbucks, or Pete's Coffee. I mean, while it is always best to know what to watch out for, I think it's just as important to know both sides of the story. Don't you? Caffeine has a negative stigma, yes. But in actuality, the status quo has revealed that moderate doses have proven themselves successful in disease prevention and a handy remedy for benign illnesses. Caffeine in minimal amounts has proven, and depending on the consumer, even suggested, to combat certain debilitating health effects that widely range from tension headaches, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, weight loss, anxiety, and even liver disease. Caffeine is consumed around the world for its beneficial effects on energy, physical and mental performance, alertness, and even your mood. To alleviate things such as depression. I mean, to your average American, coffee and tea and everything in between are seen as cups of energy to get through late night studying and early morning, or to purge in a couple of late assignments before you lay to rest at night. Am I right? But to many across the world, caffeine is an effective substance to prevent multiple fatal diseases and simply so much more. In addition to being able to fight off some illnesses that too frequently conquer many Americans daily, caffeine, when used correct proportions, have the capability to enhance highly desired mental alertness, concentration, necessary to exceed usual perceived focus. The upness that caffeine provides is credited to affecting adenosine receptors in your brain, which basically is a fancy way of saying that it blocks an enzyme in your brain that makes you feel tired. And by doing so, there's actually a lot of important things that come from that. Medical News Today states that 75 milligrams serving of caffeine can increase your attention and alertness, and 160 to 1600 milligrams a day may improve mental alertness, speed, reasoning, and even your memory, all of which have proven essential to thriving in any academic or occupational environment, or society as a whole. Another study was done in 2003 by pathologist Paul J. Hewitt, resulted in caffeine challenge improved diligence performance and prevented decreases in alertness induced by completion of the task battery caffeine. The magnitude of these effects have increased as a function of number of doses in caffeine. What I'm trying to say is that all in all, caffeine is so abundant that many of us, well, most of us, take it for granted and don't recognize the healing remedies and enhancing capabilities caffeine is associated with. For far too long, the negative attributes have reigned. And the negative attributes are the ones that have spread rampantly across the globe. But that's not the full story. This is. Caffeine, when not utilized correctly, may result in adverse health effects, some being fatal if the abuse is that extreme. But when delegated in proper proportions, caffeine has the ability to be magical, to help us do what we already can, just better and with the lesser risk of falling demise to a deadly disease. Don't trust everything you read on the internet, but know that caffeine is more than we all thought. With this, I say thank you.